Aloha. In the early 1800s, many African American men found their way to the Hawaiian Island Kingdom on whaling and merchant ships. Some were descendants from Black Portuguese of the Cape Verde's island off the coast of West Africa, and others were from the mainland USA, escaping the burden of slavery. Native Hawaiians welcomed their foreign Black brothers. Many of these African Americans were knowledgeable and possessed special skills. They served as advisors in King Kamehameha's administration and acted as interpreters for the monarchy. Some became entrepreneurs, musicians, and small businessmen serving foreigners. In the downtown area near Iolani Palace, during the early evening, the King's Band would be seen strolling along King Street and Fort Street Mall, playing their instruments. The King's Band consisted of 4 African American men. The most notable among African Americans arriving in the Hawaiian Islands was Anthony D. Allen. Allen was born in 1774. His mother was probably a slave and his father a free man, and Allen himself was freed at age 24 through a combination of skill and luck. He fled to Boston like his father before him. He became a ship hand on a merchant ship that took him to China, the West Indies, the northwest coast of America, and to Hawaii, where he settled around 1810. Allen served as steward to Kamehameha the Great. He acquired about 6 acres of land from the high priest Hiva near Waikiki area. This piece of land began at the corner of Punahou and King Streets, where the present Washington Middle School is located, continuing down to Ward Avenue, fronting the Honolulu Academy of Arts. Allen married a Hawaiian woman, and they had 3 children who survived into adulthood. They had children of their own. His grandchildren continued his legacy. Allen was a successful businessman and farmer. He owned cattle, chicken, and horses. In addition, he had a vegetable garden. He built a boarding house, a bowling alley, a hospital. The hospital was a place for sick sea captains and injured merchant seamen to recuperate on shore. Allen was respected and admired by missionaries and native Hawaiians. The missionaries depended upon him for fresh vegetables, milk, and eggs. The boarding house had a restaurant, which was popular with missionaries. King Kamehameha used it often to entertain his guests. The first known African American woman that came to the Hawaiian Island was Bessie Stockton. She came with the Charles Samuel Stewart family, who were missionaries. Betsy was given her freedom prior to leaving for the Hawaiian Islands. The Stewart family resided in Lahaina, Maui. The native Hawaiians fell in love with Betsy. They brought their sick children to her to be nursed back to good health. She in turn reached out to them and learned to speak the Hawaiian language. This gave her the opportunity to teach the commoner Hawaiian children how to read and write. Bessie Stockton's humanitarian efforts were considered to be the beginning of the first public school system in the Hawaiian Islands. 5 years after the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Thomas McCann Stewart, an attorney, moved to Hawaii in 1898. He was the first African American to practice law in the Hawaii federal court system. In 1896, Hawaii enacted the Chinese Exclusionary Act to prevent Chinese immigration to the island. Stewart was vehemently against the act. Needless to say, he represented Chinese immigrants and assisted Hawaiians in regaining their land rights. His daughter, Kalata Stewart Lay, was 18 years old when she arrived in Hawaii to join her father. She graduated from the Punahou School established by the missionaries and became a teacher. Her talents and skills were recognized and she was promoted to be principal of Anaole School on Kauai. Kalata was a refined cultural professional African-American woman and highly regarded. As principal of Anaole School, she became involved in the community. She met her husband, Yoon Tim Lei, who was from a well-known Chinese family. In 1935, her husband traveled to Hong Kong, where he died suddenly. Kalata lived on Kauai for many years until her retirement. She moved back to Honolulu and maintained her contact with her sister-in-law, Ruth Jean, until her death in 1952. She is buried in Oahu Cemetery. During the early 1900s, the island of Maui attracted a number of notable African Americans. One of them was Dr. William Linnaeus Maples. In 1902, the Hawaiian Commercial Sugar Company hired Dr. William Linnaeus Maples to be its physician for the sugar plantation workers. Before coming to Hawaii, Dr. Maples practiced medicine in Knoxville, Tennessee. His brother Samuel Maples, an attorney, followed him to the island of Maui. The family was loved and respected by the people on the island. The Maples School on Maui was named after the family. Dr. Maples died in 1943, leaving a wife and 2 daughters. Another that arrived on Maui in 1900s was the William F. Crockett family. William was an attorney for the Sprinkleville Sugar Plantation. Later he became Maui District Magistrate and a member of the territorial legislature. This position made him prominent in the community. His wife Annie Crockett was a teacher. She taught at Waluku Elementary School. The school celebrated its 100th year anniversary recently and acknowledged Mrs. Crockett's contributions. Her grandson, Wendell Crockett, is an attorney who still lives on the island. Mrs. Crockett was fond of flowers and created numerous variations of the hibiscus flower that still enhance the beauty of the Hawaiian Islands today. Also, during the early 1900s, a number of distinguished African Americans came to Honolulu. The well-known Bulgarian photographer James P. Ball Sr. arrived in Honolulu with his son, James Jr., who was an attorney in 1902. James Jr.'s daughter, Alice Ball, is the most noteworthy. Alice was the first African American to teach at the College of the University of Hawaii. She was a chemist instructor. During her laboratory research, she discovered a breakthrough for Hansen's disease, known as leprosy. This pioneering treatment was called the Ball method, found in chamugra seeds. She extracted ether esters in the fatty acids from the chamugra oil. This chemical was injected into patients that reduced the symptoms caused by leprosy. This discovery brought relief to many with leprosy. Her research and cure for Hansen's disease was unknown for more than 80 years before it was accidentally discovered recently through a literature search. Alice died at the early age of 24 in 1916. The cause of her death is unknown. A distinguished African-American gentleman, Charles Cottrell, was appointed by President William Taft to be tax collector for the Hawaiian Territory in 1911. Today, this is called the Internal Revenue Services. He brought his wife and son with him. His son attended Punahou School. Of course, Cottrell was a socialite who enjoyed the privileges provided by prestigious country clubs and socialized with top business executives.